Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
We got it! We got it!
New 52 booklet.
Somebody clip this.
Welcome to Justice League Rewatch. I'm Jared. It's just me this week because Nick had to set this one out. So today we are discussing the double date episode, which is the episode that features Huntress, Black Canary, Green Arrow, and The Question. So all in all, a pretty dope lineup. It's written by Gail Simone. So when Gail Simone writes anything involving Black Canary and or Huntress, you know you're in for a big treat. But first, before we get into this, I just want to remind you all to like, comment, subscribe to this channel. I do a lot of discussions about DC Marvel content, Super Wonder content, if that's your thing, Snyderverse content. We just generally have a fun time. So like, comment, subscribe, and consider becoming a member. So on to Double Date. So this episode is basically giving the origin for Huntress in this universe. And the way they do that is very cool here. So this episode has Huntress hunting down a mob boss. So what happens is Huntress nearly kills a man. Then she's teleported to the Justice League Watchtower, and Jean's like,
Huntress.
Jean,
You were warned. You were told to stay away from Mandragora. You have violated my direct orders. You've crossed the line.
hey, we tried to warn you. You can't touch this guy. She doesn't know this yet, but this particular mob boss, whose name is Mandragoras, he's going to testify in court and take down a large organization, so we have to protect him. But Huntress, for reasons we discover later in the episode, is totally down with killing this person. So what eventually happens is Jean kicks her out of the Justice League because apparently this is not the first occasion where she has nearly killed someone going after this organization, going after this mob boss. So what happens is she leaves the league. But before she does, she enlists the aid of The Question, who comes with her because he likes her. So this is kind of the start of the Question Huntress relationship, which I like. It's really cool in this universe. This is one of the few relationships that was established in this universe that actually works. The other one is Black Canary and Green Arrow. They're protecting Mandragora while he basically testifies in court. So that's kind of cool. You have one couple going to kill him and another one going to that has to protect him. And so eventually Mandragora says some very choice things to Black Canary. So Green Arrow and Canary have to go outside, and they get on a perch, and they're basically watching the road. And then two of Mandragora's goons show up and evac him. At the same time, Huntress and The Question show up, and then the two couples fight. And then we have this cool motorcycle high-speed chase, at which point Black Canary and Green Arrow end up in the water. And then Huntress and Question go ahead and track down Mandragora. At this point, this is when Question basically says, yeah, I know why you're doing this. And then he basically tells the story. So her origin in this universe is very similar to her DC her regular origin. In that, Huntress's real name is Helena Bertinelli. She was the daughter of a mob boss, and then the mob boss was killed by a rival gang family, and that's what inspired her to become the Huntress. And she's a little bit more on the killing side of the Bat family. In this, her father was a mob boss, but he also worked with Mandragora, and then Mandragora came for him because apparently Helena's father had betrayed Stephen Mandragora. So I was going to call him Gora. Gora shows up and basically beats the entire family to death while young Huntress watches from a closet. So that's why it's basically like a revenge story. And then they fought, and then both couples converge on Mandragora because he gave Black Canary and Green Arrow the slip because he was going to go to the docks. I think he's going to escape, but as it turns out, he's going to go pick up his son who is coming over because they're trying to hide from a group that's coming to kill them. And at this point, so what's kind of cool is that they have him cornered, and Huntress has the opportunity to kill him, but then the son walks out. And what's cool about it is it places Huntress in that situation where she's about to be no better than the criminal that killed her father. It's kind of like in BVS, the Martha scene. I know some people had issues with that scene, but what it really represents is Batman sees that he had become Joe Chill in that analogy. So in this, she became Mandragora in that analogy. And so she actually just decides, I'm not going to kill him. And then she and Question kiss and then begin the relationship. And I love Black Canary. She's like, I'm sorry, but ew, that is just so gross. So that's really funny. I like that. So that's the basic plot of the episode. I really like this one. And real quick, I'm going to give you guys some continuity and some trivia. So when Huntress finds Question at the beginning of the episode, he is following up on a lead Batman gave him because Batman is having the Question investigate Cadmus. And this is basically building up to the Cadmus arc.
Oh, Cadmus, Cadmus, wherefore art thou, Cadmus? I know there's a connection. Don't think I won't find it.
And then, obviously, in this episode, like I said before, we have Green Arrow and Black Canary being a couple in this episode. The Cat and the Canary is really what started that, and that was an episode we did a couple of weeks ago. And then, by the way, Mandragora appears as a psychic in Batman Beyond. So there you go. That's really cool. And so for trivia, we have, I'm pulling up some cool stuff here. In DC Comics, Mandragora is a mob boss who ordered the killing of the Bertinelli family, though Huntress did not find this out until much later on whose orders he was acting. In this episode, however, his appearance is based on that of Tobias White, Black Lightning's nemesis. Curiously, the Netflix plot summary for this episode incorrectly refers to him by the whale's name. Oh, that's interesting. The questions line, "Oh, Cadmus, Cadmus, where art thou, Cadmus?" It's basically a reference to that Romeo and Juliet line. Fluoride is spelled wrong on the poster, but what's interesting, according to trivia, is that it's spelled wrong in the previous episode as well. So what that indicates is that it was intentionally spelled wrong. And then the relationship between Huntress and Question is possibly a tribute to a brief liaison featured in the comic storyline Huntress City for Blood, in which Huntress, framed for mob assassination she did not commit, flees Gotham after inadvertently injuring Batman in order in trying to defend herself. Vic Sage, the Question, takes her under his wing, and there is a strong attraction between the two, but he leaves her in disgust when she reverts to bad habits and uses her old mafia connection to arrange her antagonist's murder, which is kind of cool. And by the way, this episode features Special Agent King Faraday, who I know he showed up in DC before, but this is a big Justice League New Frontier reference, because remember, he's traditionally the government guy. He he's traditionally you know how in movies, whenever like a government dude shows up, he's like in a suit and everything. He goes, "I'm from the government." That's Faraday. That's him. And that's basically the role he played in New Frontier as well. And while stalling, Gora refers to deceased associate who was killed by one Tommy Monahan, a tribute to DC Comics Hitman character. Okay. And then actually what's cool is that Question's car is a 67 Pontiac GTO. And yeah, that's really cool. In terms of other Justice League characters, by the way, that show up in the background, we have like Terrific, Mr. Terrific, obviously, Red Tornado, some person just called Sand. Oh, Sandman. It's Sandman. Okay, it's just on this they just referred to him as Sand. So I was like, who is that? They're talking about the Sandman, but all right, Stargirl and Starman. So all in all, pretty dope episode. I rate this one probably a 10 out of 10. And again, this proves that Gail Simone is a competent writer. And it's interesting that I'm covering this episode then, because I'm also reading the Gail Simone Wonder Woman omnibus, and I really enjoy her writing on a lot of characters. I think the reason why I know she does really well with this with this episode is because these are the characters that she really fleshed out in her Birds of Prey run. So it makes sense that like she knows how to write them in other medium. And then obviously I love her Wonder Woman run. So that's where I'm going to leave this one. I really love this one. I look forward to having Nick back on the show next week. And yeah, this is going to be dope. So in terms of what's coming out for Comics League, for commentary, I'm going to give you guys an update on 2024, like plans for the channel will be really cool. And in terms of, let's see, in terms of Under Two Capes, I'm still working out like what the topic is going to be. I typically do those week to week because I like to catch any particular like news that pops up. In terms of movie night, we're going to be discussing Constantine with Keanu Reeves. And then in terms of CLD, it's going to be any general topic that we want to talk about in terms of news, like anything that's to do with comics or movies. And in terms of Super Wonder Legacy that comes out next Monday, we are going to be discussing, Britt and I, if we were put in charge of DC now, here's how we would fix DC. So that's a lot of content for you guys to look forward to. I'll see you guys later, and stay heroic. And remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane.